Here we are up again for the next reveal. This one is going to be, what is it? Roll reveal number 254. It's a 1946D plastic tubed roll. This little guy right here. I'm going to go ahead and pop the cap off. Let the coins out and we'll see what we've got here. 1946D is one of the more desirable dates for RPMs in the late 40s. A lot of nice RPMs for 1946D, especially RPM number 1 if we happen to find any of them. Quite a few minor ones as well, so there's always a decent chance. Nice double die reverse to be found, possibly. Paul Hampton. Paul Hampton gets the first coin in the roll. Let's see what we have for Paul Hampton. Nice coin with nice toning on it. You can see the iridescence in the toning, just in the way you can see it here in the scope. Quite nice, but nothing on the obverse. Let's take a look at the reverse real quick. We are going to be looking at the reverse on all these coins. Got nothing so far. Who we have in here? Let's see. Let me get this popped out here so I can actually look at it. Forgot to do that when I started this. Let's see here. The live chat. Got who? Coin Junkie, Eric Beyer, Grinning Barrett, Timothy Morrell, Andy Snowville, and Joe McBride. Looks like we have a total of 4 viewers right now. We may get more as time goes on. That's fine. So I was telling everybody earlier in other streams of this type, actually, is that I never really intended on this being a live show back in the day when I first started doing this. I had always intended for it to just be a matter of evidence. That yes, I went through the roll, yes, the roll was unopened prior to my going through it, yes, I went through every coin, and yes, all the coins that I said were going to specific people indeed did go to those specific people, because every individual little flaw on a coin, this little mark out in front of the nose, and this little mark here on the cheek, and this little mark out here in the field, well, that's definitely going to Jim Fletcher, and Jim Fletcher could come back to this broadcast and look for this particular coin and see that the coin that he received is exactly the one that I was showing on camera. No coin switcheroo here. Everything is exactly what it is. Hello, Chad. And for anyone who happens to come along watching this video who has not yet been involved in these, I encourage you. I'm working on my I'm going to call it my backdoor fund. I'm trying to get myself involved in purchasing a Glory coin counting machine, and that does Batdorf wrapping. Batdorf wrapping is a very tight, very nice wrapping of coins. If you take a look at any of these rolls like this, these are Batdorf wrapped. A Batdorf wrapped roll is a roll that is wrapped in a form that was originally patented by a man by the name of Batdorf, Charles Batdorf, back in 1915. And Batdorf wrappers, Batdorf wrapped rolls, are actually rather uncommon up until the late 1960s. Mid-1960s, there tend to have been a few of them come around, more than usual anyway, because, well, they do get a little more common in the 60s. But any wrapped roll, like a Batdorf wrapped roll from 1958, any of the wheat pennies, is really kind of unusual. And when you get before 1950, they're downright rare. But anymore these days, most of the banking institutions, the Fed Reserve, and most of the wrapping companies like Loomis and Brandt and Dunbar and the others, they specifically just use the Batdorf type wrapping machines. They're not cheap, but they do a very good job wrapping the coins. And so I'm going to start my Batdorf fund. My Batdorf fund is going to have to be built for quite a while before I can actually buy the machine I want to get, because the machines I want to get are often for sale for north of $6,000. So it's something that you really have to want. Either that or you just have to be really dumb and have a lot of money. And I'm not dumb or have a lot of money, so it's something I really want because I know exactly what I want to use it for. I've got bags and bags and bags of coins here to wrap. Not found anything in this roll yet. We're up to coin number 5 now. Coin number 5 goes to Techstar. Techstar with coin number 5. And it looks like we do not have an RPM yet again. 1946, if you see the last 2 digits of the date there are kind of, I'm going to say weak. It's a very common thing for 1946 Lincoln cents to have that weakness at the end of the date. I'm not exactly sure why, but I do know that any date that has a line which is parallel to the rim, which basically runs the same direction as the rim near the rim, is subject to having extra die wear on that date digit. 1929, 1946, 1949, 1953, 1954, 1955, those are all very common years for this. That's where the outside digit or 2 digits of the year just kind of wear away. I see this one is an earlier die state because your 4-6 is still pretty sharp on this coin. So it's a very nice earlier coin, and this one happens to be, appears to be, yeah, it appears that it is a doubled eyelid. So we'll hold this one out, take a better look at it a little bit later on. All of these coins have a satiny toning on them. They're not red, they're kind of an off red toward a brown purple color. They're beautiful though, really nice looking coins. Okay, that's number 6 for Wanda. Wanda's gonna have her coin tossed off to the side to take a better look at it later because it appears to be a minor doubled eyelid. Here we go with Farm Dog. Let's see what Farm Dog ends up with. A little tiny baby split on the upper serif. If there's anything on the bottom serif, I'll pull it. Otherwise, I won't. No. Just way, way too small to count for anything there. So Eric made it back from the store in time to catch the broadcast. But he knew it was coming up at 4 o'clock and it was 3:57. He was 5 miles away from home. So I think he might have hit 120 miles an hour on the rural roads getting home. Get into his neighborhood. Had to be cranking corners like Beretta. Screeching the tires and everything. Cops followed him home. Had the lights on, sirens on, the whole 9 yards. Eric jumps out of the car with the groceries and starts to run inside and says, "Not now, fellas, I got a broadcast to watch." Here we go. There's James Worley, Mr. Worley coming up with coin number 8, and coin number 8 doesn't appear to have anything of any added value, like many of the coins so far in the roll. We've got 1 coin out of 8 so far that has an RPM on it. No, not an RPM. It is a doubled eyelid. Eric says, "I cannot confirm or deny." Yes, I am the all-seeing Yoda of pennies. I know what all of my followers are doing at any given time. Put that away, Wanda. She looks at me like, "What? What? What do I put away?" That's right, Dukes of Hazzard style. Looks a little strange in his Mazda Miata, but yeah, still, you get the idea. Hello, Stonecutter. You haven't really missed anything of any real value yet. There is a minor doubled eyelid that I found on 1 coin in the roll so far. So we may end up with a few more of those. I like the toning on these. Really nice looking toning on these coins. Let's see if I can pick up on this toning. Let me see what I can do. Can you see the coloration there? A little bit of that purpley, bluey looking color over on the left-hand side there. That's pretty. All of these coins are like that. They're all real nice. Real nice, well-toned. Look at that. Definitely nice coins. This one is for Yo Man. Didn't have anything on it, but it is pretty. I appreciate it, Stonecutter. The only thing I have to do with that, the coins that I do being top notch, is I do look at the roll for condition prior to doing any reveal if it is an opened roll. If it's a bank wrapped roll, I can't really do anything about it. Original, machine wrapped coin roll, I don't do anything about those. But the ones, that's interesting. You see what I see? Right at the back of the head. Kind of looks like there might be something going on there, but oh, this is a nice RPM here. This one's got a nice split upper serif. Nice split upper serif on this one. Yeah, and also really nice toning, really nice color on this one. So I'm glad I picked this roll. Let's check the reverse side. Yeah, Stonecutter, absolutely no comment from the Peanut Gallery here. Except that I will say you are a very highly modest person. I was talking during another stream about spots and stains. These are stains. These are little areas where the color has been, the color of the coin has been defaced by some sort of a liquid or something sitting on top of the coin that dried off and didn't have any grit inside that actually caused a spot, which would be something you cannot remove from the coin. With enough diligence and the right materials, somebody could actually safely remove these from the coin, because this stuff is just simply sitting on top of the surface of the coin. So that's pretty much what that means. So these are stains, not spots. And that's my terminology. That doesn't necessarily follow through with the rest of the coin world. It's a spot if it's not removable. It's a stain if it is removable. Or that if it doesn't damage the coin. Stains don't damage the coin. Spots do. Yeah, see that right there is a spot. And let's see, more spots. That little, there's a struck through right there, and then just to the left of the struck through is a color spot. That's a stain, actually a stain, not a spot. It's a color stain. Yeah, I think you can get the idea though. Stains are just differences in color. Spots actually hurt the coin. These are all spots, little black spots. Some of them very small, but they're all caused by the same thing. That's an infusion of carbon onto the surface of the coin. Causes little bits of issue. And that's what we see. This next one's for Joe McBride. And what does Joe McBride get? Looks like a normal 46D. Not going to be one of those doubled eyelids because it's a later die state coin, and that doubled eyelid belonged to an early mid-die state coin. Early mid-die state. I say that because it did have flow lines in the design, but none of the flow lines were deep or long. Now coin number 14. 14 goes to Mike Birchman. Mike Birchman gets somewhat slightly spotty looking coin here. And no die variety on the obverse. Let's check the reverse real quick. Starting to get a complex about how I say reverse, because I used to always say reverse. It's reverse if you're going in a direction, like if you're moving backwards in a car, that's reverse. But if it's the backside of a coin or the backside of something else and you're calling it the backside by calling it the reverse, it's actually reverse to me. I know it's a very slight difference, but you have to excuse my contradiction at times, because what I'm trying to say doesn't necessarily come out right. But you have to understand also that I have Asperger's, and, well, things don't necessarily always come out perfectly right. Asperger's is a syndrome of the brain where I don't know exactly how to explain what it is, but I can tell you some of the symptoms. One of the symptoms is that I'm incapable of lying, which that's always a very good thing. But I'm also incapable of considering any white lie or any really small thing actually not lying. So, like, for instance, if I ask you how you are, I expect you to tell me how you are. Because if you say fine and you're not fine, you're lying to me. I see that as like lack of trust, lack of integrity, if you tell me that you're doing fine and you're actually not. Another minor RPM there. You got a split lower and upper serif. Hello, farm dog. So, if you're a buddy of mine and I ask you, how you doing? I really mean it. And I really want to know the truth. I am also not very easily inclined to understand innuendo or body language when I see it, because my wife and I have this nasty little term that we use for it, but basically it's true. We call me a social retard because it's kind of what I am. I don't have very good capabilities when it comes to social interaction with others, going to parties or dinner events or anything like that. This is another minor split upper serif RPM here. This may not be listable, but I am going to pull it out so I can have another better look at it later to see. This one's going to belong to Bulldog. Eventually, once I can get done with it and do what I need to do with it, I'll send it to him. Now, I've learned over the years to basically just not try to explain myself. This is a spot. It's a wet ring on a coin that has since dried and created a spot on the coin. That's Bulldog's reverse there. I think we looked at the reverse earlier. That's going to be pulled out because it's yet another RPM. I'm going to keep all the RPMs together. I don't think I'm going to split them up right now. I'll split them up when I go through them with the scope later, but there could be a number of different dies here, and that will cause me nothing more than slowing down and confusion and trying to sort them out into the proper piles while we're doing the broadcast. I've learned my lesson about the broadcast. The broadcasts need to be between 30-45 minutes long. I can't do any hour and a half, 2-hour broadcast, because what that does is it lowers my ranking with YouTube in exposure and how people see the videos. They like to watch shorter videos. It's much preferred that they're 5 to 9 minutes long, but hour and a half is definitely out of the question. All right, there we go with Adam Chambers. Adam Chambers is next. Rather weak late die state obverse there. How odd or how off base does a die anomaly have to be before we call it a die error? That's a really good question. It's a good question I'll attempt to answer here. In a die error, generally you're going to have something that would usually have resulted in the die being immediately retired, because whatever it is messes the entire design up and is considered of low quality, thus quality assurance will pull the die off. That does not include die chips, die cracks, small die breaks, weak clash marks, or clash marks that have been mostly removed by polishing the die with an emery board or a piece of steel wool or some other thing like that, an abrasive scratching that removes part of the surface of the die to remove part of the clash marks so that you can't see the clash marks. And what that ends up doing sometimes is removing some of the weaker lines of the design, i.e. a floating roof Memorial Lincoln cent or a three-legged buffalo nickel. Those are not considered errors because they are a normal part of minting coins and are to be expected when minting coins. Now, although a three-legged buffalo is not technically an error coin, its market value was established many years before. The study of the die-making process and minting process was widely known, and assumptions were made at that point in time that these coins were somehow purposefully but not purposefully created with only 3 legs on the buffalo. It's like they only carved 3 legs into this coin, so it's valuable. Well, we know now that very different things cause stuff like that, which we now consider of little or no consequence, that already had a lot of market value prior to that understanding. So the market value continued because, well, in part they are still kind of scarce, in part they are still very interesting to have, and also in part that whatever the anomaly is already had a market value. When the people who have them now purchase them, they probably purchased them for a lot of money, and it's not something that we are very inclined to just remove all value from by calling it an anomaly that is a common part of minting coins. But we have since found on Buffalo nickels that there are a number of other issues where part of the feathers were completely removed, or part of the leg of the buffalo was almost completely removed, like a 3.5 leg buffalo and things like that. There's a number of issues known like that, and none of those received any of the attention like the 1937 D3-legged buffalo, and that's because, well, back when it was initially discovered, people thought it was really neat, and so they put a lot of value on having one of those. And since they all came from one single die, oh, I'm sorry, that was Adam Connor if I didn't show before, and that they were all from one single die, thus they're rather uncommon. I'm sorry, what's silly, Wanda? Those of us trying to learn something, those of us trying to learn the right things, or how the right things are. It's a matter of constant study. We continue studying on a regular basis. This one's a minor RPM as well. I'll pull it off. This one's going to go to Eric Bayer. We continue to try to learn. We continue to learn more as time goes on by people actually having expertise in what happens and how it happens. Hey, Roadrunner. Glad you got your roll, brother. Oh, you found a 26S in those? A 26S, that's one that starts at $5 and good. So, that's a pretty amazing little batch of coins you ended up with there. I did not seed those. It is what it is. You got what you got. I had no idea what's in there. There could be 1909S in there for all I know, but I'm not going to promise that because, well, 09S are really hard to get to begin with, much less in a bag or a roll. I just rolled the coins up. That's all I did. Just rolled them up. Our box reveal tonight is going to have, I believe, 15 rolls of those early wheats in there. 15 rolls of the early wheats. Then the late wheats we get into, I don't know, 25, 35 rolls or so. And then there's BU rolls of wheat pennies, and then there's other rolls of old wheat pennies. You got an 09 in yours, Joe? That's awesome. VDB or no VDB? Ones with VDB are worth a little bit more. I tend to disagree with that though, because the ones without VDB are just as uncommon. And actually, there were fewer of those kept back in better condition than of the VDBs, because those were a 1-year type. That's one that got all the attention back in 09, because they only minted the coins for 3 days before they stopped the presses, took the dies off, and replaced the dies with no initial dies. So there were a lot more of the plain coins minted. However, there were a lot more of the with VDB coins saved. So you're going to find uncirculated rolls of 09S or the 09 VDB coins left, but the 09 no VDB, you're not likely to find uncirculated rolls of them. No VDB. It's actually not a bad thing. Not super bad anyway. Tim, I did send yours, but it went out yesterday. I think it went out yesterday. Yes, yours went out yesterday. If you didn't get a tracking number, I can send that to you after the show. This one's for Jeff Dunn. What do we have here? Oh, nothing extra special on the obverse. If you'll notice, there's a shadow doubling on the outside of the 6. It's the same thing that they had on the 55 Poor Man's double, caused by the same thing. It's caused by die wear. Well, you guys will be interested in knowing that I have probably another half a bag full of the early date Lincoln Cents headed my way. So I've got a refresh on the poundage that I start at, I think it's $18.75 a pound. There's a 46D for you. Nice one. Got some pretty colors on it. No dye variety. On the obverse anyway. Let's look at the reverse. See, I did it again. That's my nature for you right there. Called it a reverse. That's just what I've always done. I suppose it's supposed to be called a reverse, but I don't really pronounce it that way. I pronounce it reverse. I guess it's not a variety. A variety. Y'all. Never heard anybody talk like that with a northern accent before. It's just very different. Fishing. Gonna go fishing, y'all. Find me a variety. Here's coin number 30 now. Coin number 30 goes to Deanne. And here I live in North Carolina, and I don't have a southern accent. Of course, I'm not from North Carolina, so there's a nice one. We've seen one of those already in this roll. So this will be the second one available in this roll. Cute looking little RPM there. It's going to be a listable one for sure. If we don't already have it listed, this one will definitely be listed. And that goes to Deanne. Onto the RPM pile it goes. And coin number 31 now. Coin number 31 goes to Farm Dog. And Mr. Farm Dog pulls. And it's one of the late die state 46Ds. This one doesn't appear to have anything going on. And it does not. Let's take a look at the reverse real quick. Nothing on the reverse. The dog moved to the floor, and I guess his neck is in a way now that he's not snoring. Sometimes I worry about him when he's not snoring. I go over and make sure he's still breathing. But when you have a dog that snores all the time, snoring is a comforting thing. Do you see all the color on this? It's just amazing color. It's beautiful. Beautifully toned coin. This is not an OBW. This was it's an original roll, but it was a tubed roll. I have a number of original tubed rolls that I'll be going through over the next few weeks. But I also have some that are not tubed rolls. Like, let's see, where's this one? I have one here. Hang on just a second. There we go. How about this? 1952 Philadelphia. 52 Philadelphia Batdorf roll. 1952 Philadelphia Batdorf roll. That one's coming up next week. Love the Batdorf rolls. Crevice. What about Crevice? Alright, here we go. There's the next coin. That's coin number 33. It's going to go to EJ's Numismatics. once known as Steve Elliott. Alright, there we go with that. That's the obverse, and now the reverse, or the reverse, whichever you want to call it. Let's see if we can see the colors on this coin under this camera. Not quite as well as I would hope. You see some of it though. Just a beautiful roll of coins here. Nicey nicey. You guys are going to like these when you get them. Like it, love it, and I want some more of it. Here's coin number 34, Mike Birchman. Mike Birchman comes up with this coin, and this one is... Yeah, it looks like it has a little minor lower split serif. We'll see if we got it listed anywhere. This one doesn't have any toning. This one does not have the toning that a lot of the other coins do. Look at the reverse side. Not the reverse, but the reverse. I'll stick it on the pile of RPMs and I'll take a look at it later and see if it's going to be a listable one. If so, then it'll be listed. Adam Chambers gets a little tiny minor split lower serif RPM here. Very, very tiny, but it is there. It is what it is, boys and girls. So I'll pull this one off to the side and try to identify it. If it's non-identifiable, I think I'll probably just skip it like I do the others that are extremely minor. Nobody else listed them. That probably means they didn't warrant listing. No sense in adding extra work to people just because. Now for coin number 36. 36 is going to go to Paul Hampton. When did I get that roll, and was it hand wrapped? No, not hand wrapped. This one has been in a tube since I received it. I don't know what it was in before that, but I received it as a tubed roll. And this one's got one of the nice low RPMs. It's a top split serif. Really nice one. I don't know exactly when I got this. It's a futile attempt to try to remember where I purchased 11,000 different rolls. I can only keep the memory on about 8,000 of them, and this wasn't one of them that I remember. That was for Paul Hampton, or as I write it sometimes, Hampton. That's why I put the M and the P backwards sometimes. Here's Wanda Wanda. Ein Fisch namens Wanda. No, it's in there. Get that one in its hole. Move on to the next coin. Coin number 38. 38 now to Adam Connor. 38 to Adam Connor. What do we have here? Oop, it looks like a cleaner cut. It looks like it may be one of the little double die lids, and it is. Bam, Adam Connor gets one of the double die lids. Been watching for this to come back. This is our second one of these. A lot of times I didn't get receipts when I purchased rolls, so I find rolls that I've had for 25 years, and some of them I can still remember where and when I was when I got them, but most of them no. Most of them kind of hopeless. This looks like it could be another one of the double die lids. Let's flip it up and see if it is. No. It goes to Eric Beyer. It's not one of the double die lids though. So let's check this one on the other side. Hello Lester and Sir Gold. Sir Gold here to party with us for a little while. And Archaeology Mikey, glad to see you show up again. We haven't quite solved world peace yet, but we're getting close. Just hang around for a while and we'll all get it figured out. Number 40 now. Number 40 goes to Jeff Dunn. Sir Jeff Dunn. Oh, this one looks like it's going to be one of the... Yep, I think so. Nope, it isn't. I guess I better quit speaking before I pull out the appearance of... Oh, wait a minute. Here's a little bit of woody going on with this one. The color, you can see the color is running up and down on this. It's a very interesting, pretty looking coin. See what we have on the other side. Oh, it is a woody. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Pretty. Pretty woody. Who does this go to? Jeff Dunn. Jeff Dunn's going to have a nice one here. Well, let's see. Is that Hahi Music Man coins or is that Jaji Music Man coins? And Papa Giorgio here. Hello, Papa Giorgio. Suki Suki. A little tiny minor split lower serif on this one. You can see it there. I'm going to pull it off to the side, but I don't think this one's going to turn out being one of the listed ones. Well, we'll just have to see. Looks like over the near future I'm probably going to be turning more of my attention toward doing more reveals and fewer direct auctions, but my auctions will continue for the time being anyway. I have auctions with reveals together. Boy, look at the toning on this one, plus it's a nice RPM. There you go. Who's that? Mike Birchman gets this one. But just to let you know, I'm probably going to be turning up the volume on my reveal shows so that you get to see more different reveals over the coming months. And I'll probably be sending more inventory to Jessica to run for auction. There's another nice little RPM. Goes on the stack with the others. This one's going to go to Techstar. Now number 44. Sireg. Wanda likes this plan. I think I kind of like it too, because what it does is it keeps my work in one direction and I'm not splitting myself up and doing too many different things at once. Trying to prepare for an auction and take care of reveal coins is nearly impossible. Just working myself too hard to get the same work done. So I'm probably going to pare down on the number of actual auction items I have and start turning up the number of reveal items I have. Another really minor split upper serif. I'm not even going to count that one. Hey EJ, we did find a few minor things, a couple of minor die varieties. I've got a, I don't have any of them for you though. Your coins so far have all been normal coins. I have a couple of minor RPMs and a minor doubled eyelid that I've been finding in this roll. So there is something in here, just not, it's not spectacular. Oh, Party Pickle. I tried to wait for you, but people started getting rowdy, and so the party had to begin without you. It's okay though, it's on you. You didn't show up on time, so Wanda has a 900 square foot house, but I bet it's a comfortable house. You can get a lot of coins in 20 square foot, especially if you're good at doing shelving. Install shelving. Lots of shelving. Everybody needs lots of shelving. Because if it's something crappy you have to put in a storage unit, you probably don't need it anyway. And all your stuff that should be on shelves is probably in boxes in a storage unit. You should get them out and put it on shelves so you can enjoy your life. But who am I to talk? I'm the penny guru. I don't have anything to do with your knickknacks that you display. Don't think I have anything on this one. Just a soft later dye state here. Gosh, the colors on some of these coins. My gosh, they're almost amazing. This is a roll that if it had been pulled apart, it would be it'd be worth at least $5 a coin just for the toning. Here's EJ again. EJ is going to get a chance at another RPM plus toning. Let's see what happens. Well, we've got the toning and we've got the RPM. How about that? Got a nice split upper serif, and you've got that purplish looking toning, purplish bluish looking toning on the coin. Look at that. Look at the color on that. Beautiful, beautiful. So EJ gets a nice coin. So there's EJ's numismatics. Elliot. And now for coin number 50. Coin number 50 will be the last one in the roll. We're going to Jim Fletcher for that one. Jim Fletcher, what do you get, Jim? I got a spot on the forehead that I can see already. This has the minor lower split serif. You see there's a split in the lower serif there. That's going to be another one of the minor RPMs that I'll be taking a look at later on to see if it's got enough meat to list. Might have, might not have. Hard to tell in this little scope. I'll be able to figure that out in my big scope later on. And here we are. Just finished the last coin in the roll. And so what I have for die varieties in general in this roll, we've got number 50, 49, 43, 42, 41, 38, 36, 35, 34, 30, 24, 17, 16, 11, and 6. Number of different RPM dies, and a couple of doubled eyelid coins. And here's the remainder of that row. And then our die varieties, stack those a different way. And I'm done here. I appreciate it, folks. Thank you very much for showing up. I do have, make sure I do, yeah, I've got one more show scheduled for today. It's going to be at 5:30, which is about 45 minutes from now. That's kind of the way I had planned this to go. I had planned for the shows to take 45 minutes to an hour and give myself at least a 30-minute break between shows. Working out perfectly. We're going to do the last reveal show, and then I'll have a couple of hours before we start the box reveal. The box reveal this evening, I want you all to be there because it's going to be very enjoyable. Very fun, very enjoyable time. So I appreciate you guys showing up, and I've got one more show coming up in 45 minutes. I hope to see you then.